Now, for the first time, you can walk through the site where Julius Caesar was killed. As always, Silvia's here with us.
Ciao.
And she's gonna give us a preview on what's to see.
Thank you. Just wanted to point to the name of the piazza, Largo Torre Argentina, okay? Remember that? And we move here in the shade in the side street. Argentina has nothing to do with the country, okay? It was not even discovered yet at that time. She wants to park here, but it's okay. Careful. So it has nothing to do with the country. But it refers to a tower that is not the one that we see on the piazza. It's this one, yes, the one with the nice window, typical of the 1400. It's the tower of a guy called Burckhardt. And this guy was working for the Pope Borgia, Alexander VI, at the end of the 1400. He was his master of ceremonies. He wrote a wonderful journal almost every day of what was going on the court of the Pope Borgia. And all the movies that they were able to do about the subject is because this guy wrote in his private journal that was supposed to stay secret. And he was originally from Strasbourg. Okay, Strasbourg in Latin, in the ancient Roman times, was called Argentoratum because there were mines of silver. So he gave the name of his palace of his own town. Okay, the Tower of Argentoratum. And from that, Argentina. So the tower is this. The tower has been shortened, so it doesn't look like a tower anymore because now it's the same size as the other buildings. We cross safely. Be careful. Okay, so here, for those that know Rome pretty well, it will be easy to know that Campo dei Fiori is in that direction. This is the spot where Julius Caesar was killed. We don't know exactly which spot. We know that the building was this one. On the Ides of March of the 44 BC, they were having the Senate meetings and they killed Julius Caesar. Later on, in this part of the big foyer of the porch, they made a latrine, forica. So for those that want to climb here, you can see that there is a canal for the clean water and the dirty waters were running underneath. You see one portion of the bench with the opening to sit down right at the corner. Over there, you see part of a marble slab with the opening. This is a different tower called Tower of the Papito, the sure Pope, the little Pope. To Piazza Navona and the Stadium of Domitian. They wanted to have a larger road. Largo Renola, Via Renola, they wanted to connect that straight to the Pantheon with a large road. And when they were digging here, they found this. Also, this area was called the area of the Calcarari from the calcare, the kilns. So there were these workers that were collecting marbles all over the places in Rome and then burning them to obtain the quicklime. And then in the 30s, they didn't know what to do with that. So there was a shop of flowers for years. Up to the Second World War, we have pictures of people selling flowers in this medieval tower. Now this is part of the museum. Most of the museum is downstairs. Over here, over the last temple, the farthest from where we are, there was a church called San Nicola de Cesarini. Okay, for the TV.
In 1926, the demolition works in this area brought to light one of the most important archaeological compounds in the city. Until now, the public could view the complex, but only from the street level. This year, at the conclusion of the works, for the first time ever, you can go downstairs and appreciate the structures at close range.
So this is the theater of Pompey, okay, that we mentioned. That is more or less where we have Campo dei Fiori now, okay? And then there is this huge area. This is the temples where we are now. The floor was not done at the time of the temples, okay? When we talk about ancient Rome, we always have to remember that there were fires, there were earthquakes, there were restylings, and so several things have been redone on ancient buildings as well in the ancient times. So floor have been done at the time of the Colosseum. This is the oldest complex with 4 different temples done so long ago. We are talking about 290 BC. Okay, so it's very, very rare. You will see a reconstruction of the church that I was showing you the picture before, San Nicola dei Cesarini, that was installed on the temple, okay? So you can still see traces of the paintings of the medieval decoration of the church. This temple was later enlarged, so we have remains of a first plan and also a second plan. They have found the remains of a series of columns. It was called the Ecatostilon, and it was a porch of 100 columns, so like a corridor. Here you see that this is just partially excavated. You can also go a little closer under this first portion of the museum to see that the pedestal and the steps continue under the road. And this was done to celebrate the victory against Hannibal. And the Romans were able to win that naval battle, but they were not sure at all before starting. So they were asking the protection of all possible gods that they knew. And go back all the way down to enter the museum that has some of the pieces that have been found during the last renovation that we know is at the time of Septimius Severus. And so the steps that you see lower than this floor were for a previous pavement that then was covered up. First face that you will find when we step in of the goddess Feronia that was in the temple, the first one. Feronia was the main statue of worship in the first temple, and she was supposed to be standing and 8 meters tall. While we walk on this path, you can see that we are over the ancient road that was redone by Domitian after the fire of the 80. And still there are the pillars and the canalization. So it means that there was a drainage going through the sewer for the road to be always clean. You can see the remains. What they found is much more than what you see on display. So the archaeologists said that the hardest thing was to make a selection of all the pieces that they wanted to illustrate, and they just divided it by types, okay? Statues, architectural decorations, different types of marble and ornaments.
The tour continues at the Church of St. Julian of the Flemish nearby. But that's another story.